Hello, everybody. I hope that everybody is doing amazing on this wonderful Wednesday evening. It is April 27th. I think, yeah, April 27th. I've had a long day, but I wanted to talk a little bit about happiness. Happiness, I should say. Many people struggle with being happy. And I remember being a proponent of not believing that you can be happy, right? Without something happening, if that makes sense. Our word happy from the Western culture derives from the word happening. So I was of the belief that happiness could only exist if something was happening. But I have long discovered that that isn't a belief that I hold anymore. And one of the core reasons why many of us struggle with inner happiness is because we are not clear about who we are. We're holding on to things, we're holding on to belief systems that really no longer serve us, but because I've always done it this way, then I want to keep doing it this way. We are ensnared with thinking things will make us happy, right? When the reality is that true happiness begins from within. There is no thing or no person, and I say that emphatically, that can maintain your happiness. Because authentic and non-surfaced or material happiness can do that for you. Your true happiness has to come from within. And on this journey that I've been on, I call it the path. I have learned that there are just some things that you have to be willing to put on the table about your existence. Put on the table about what you believe, and do I still believe this? We struggle even the more with finding this happiness because nobody has taught us that we can reevaluate what happiness means to me, because we've been domesticated, as in the viewpoint of Don Miguel Ruiz about our domestication. We've been taught what to believe. We've been taught how to look. We've been taught how to dress. We've been taught that this is what will make you happy, the American dream, if you would. And so we spend so much energy and so much time trying to ascertain this thing called happiness, and we lose ourselves in the process. I hope that makes sense. I can remember having all sorts of things, right? Living a very lavish lifestyle, but then ultimately coming to a space where this isn't doing anything for me. And I remember one of my first epiphanies about that, and this was before I really got deep in the things of gold, if you would. I had gone to a comedy show many moons ago, and I remember I was assessing, like all what I had on, and looking at me, you wouldn't think that I had on $3,000 worth of accessories and clothing, right? And I just remember just being in this space like, yeah, this isn't working for me. Yeah, this, I don't think I want this anymore. And then I started having these epiphanies, and they kept coming. And then I remember another time I was sitting in my closet, and I started looking around like at my shoes, and I had a pair of Giuseppe's, and this was before people were all on Giuseppe. And I actually had spent several $100s on these shoes. And I had Nikes that never actually made it to production, like, and what I mean by that, like producing a lot of these particular Nikes. And I just remember just like sitting there, and I'm looking at all the bags, the name brand bags, and I just wasn't happy. And remember just saying, man, like, what's going on? And I'm in no way suggesting that you shouldn't have nice things, because I believe that we should. I'm of this thought that nice things shouldn't have us. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just using my experiences as a way to convey how we can look for happiness in all the wrong things and all the wrong people, and spend our time or spin our wheels trying to grasp at air, trying to catch air, right? And I kind of look at happiness from this place that, you know, no one can eat your food and you get full, right? I can't eat your food for you and you get full. That is something that I often say with our esoteric soul group. And but it's so powerful, and it is so meaningful, because we are always looking outside of ourselves to exist and to be happy, right? But being on this path, being on this journey that I'm on, my whole perspective of life has shifted, and it is shifting. And I'm in this space where I've developed some universal laws for self that has helped me to, you know, be in this place of happiness from inside, you know, and not look outside of myself to exist. And I know for some that may sound weird, and, you know, and what is she saying? But a mind that is still trying to gain, you know, fulfillment and happiness in this 3D world, and I mean this material world, and will not understand like what I'm saying. You really have to be in a space where you no longer want what you thought would make you happy to make you happy. You have to be in a space where you have to learn how to be content with self. You have to be in a space where you have to challenge your belief system. You have to challenge what you think. Do I think this will make me happy because they told me this will make me happy? Am I trying to be this because they told me that I need to be this? You know, the will of God, the things of God, the purpose, your destiny. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of those things, right? But for much of that, I had to come to a place where I had to put a lot of things on the table. I know what they said I should be. I know how they said I should be, but Alexis, what do you think and what do you want? And so I started to come out of that group think, if you would. And in some spaces that challenged some people, right? Because I no longer wanted to move with the crowd. Jesus said, straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and there'll be few that find it. And he said, but many will take the broad way. I didn't want to do that no more. And that's not in this context of sin, right? I just didn't want to be in that space no more. I realized that I was older, and what served 20-something-year-old Alexis and what served 30-something-year-old Alexis doesn't serve 40-something-year-old Alexis, right? It doesn't serve me. But I kept trying to, use what I had known to evolve, if you would. But there came a space where I had to put things on the table and say to myself, what is it that you want? And when I was asked this question, if your life could like anything, what would it look like? I was flabbergasted because nobody had ever asked me that. Consciously, I didn't feel like I had a choice to shape my life. I know they say things like, your purpose, your destiny, you're this, you're happy, they say all of these things, but because of the type of individual I am and the way that I process information and my analytical skills, when that question was asked to me, it woke up another part of my brain, if that makes sense. It woke up another part of my brain, and it was almost like the light came on. And it was like, wow, okay. And so from that space, I started redefining what make me happy, right? And I'm glad that I did it. It was challenging on some levels because I had to go against a lot of things that I had been taught. Tradition, this is the way that we just do it. And I didn't want to be a part of that anymore because I really wanted to change my inner self, right? I really wanted that. And I didn't want to depend on empty cliches, it sounds good, but you don't really believe that, turn to your neighbor, and all of that stuff. And it's cute, but in the midnight hour, that the choir not there. The preacher not there, but having to get real with myself and face Alexis. I had to submit to Alexis. Alexis had to submit to Alexis. I talk about that in the 21 days of self-love. And, we just have to really be bold enough to start making, or I should say to be willing to put things on the table of self and say, does this make me happy? Have I been believing something that is leading me away from myself, my true self? And again, like I said, happiness cannot be found in things and people, and no one can make you happy. And I'm talking about authentic happiness, right? You be in a relationship, that's my boo, that's my thing, and it's all cute. But then when stuff start going sideways, then I'm not happy no more. Then that's not my boo no more. He more like, or she more like boo boo, but yeah, I'm not on that. And then I position myself to be in this low vibration of energy, right? And that's not to say that you don't get upset. That's not to say that your feelings don't get hurt. But when you start to become clear about you, you start to create an energy field or a force field that allows you to move in a way, right, that you keep your internal existence in this place of harmony, in this place of calmness, right? And you no longer depend or exist because of this or because of that. You exist because you exist. You exist because you have decided to be yourself, if that makes sense. That I'm not trying to mimic anybody else. That I'm not trying to get that because they said that that's what would make them happy. That I'm putting myself on the altar, if you would, if that, yeah, that's I think that's appropriate. Yeah, you put yourself on the altar and ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Am I believing in things that don't serve this person that I am right now? You know, am I trying to fulfill somebody else's happiness? Am I trying to fulfill somebody else's want and needs because, you know, that's what they said? I just really want us to really just be in a space where we don't have to be afraid to reevaluate ourselves. And we don't have to be afraid to say, listen, that was cool, but that doesn't work for me no more. I don't live there anymore. That's my thing. I just say, I don't live there no more. Not the way to the kingdom for me, you know. But happiness, it must begin from within. Nobody can do that for you. Nobody can give that to you. And when we do, we give people power. Yeah. They dictate our mood. They dictate how we think. They dictate, and that's not the way to the kingdom. It is not the way to the kingdom. You have to find your own space for happiness and what that looks like. You know, for me, that is, you know, sometimes it's sitting and meditating. Sometimes that's talking on the phone with my grandbaby. Sometimes that's walking in the park. Sometimes that's just sitting in the park. Sometimes that's sitting in a coffee shop or reading a book, or getting with my friends and we're just sitting down and we're chopping it up, you know, and that I don't look to what I used to look to for me to exist. And that I made a decision to decide on what will make me happy. And it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. And even when there are moments where I may find myself shifting and it's like, no, that's not the way to the kingdom. That's not the way. Straight is the gate, Alexis, straight is the gate. And me making the decision to be in this space of calmness for the most part, not that I don't get angry or upset or whatever. I just try not to live there. But being in this space of oneness with myself, that's peace. That I am content with Alexis. And I like her. I like this Alexis. I love this Alexis. I trust this Alexis. And that makes me happy. Like for real. Like for real, that really makes me happy. And it's been a journey. And allowing my laws that I've created for myself, because we all got laws that we create for ourselves. We just don't know that we have created them, you know. But being able to move in this space and being able to talk and to share, that makes me happy. Like it really does. And I'm good on that. I'm definitely good on that. I want to thank everybody who has taken any of my 21 days of a whole lot of stuff. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for taking this journey with me, and thank you for allowing me to be on your journey with you as you explore yourself and redefine your life, redefine your thinking, redefine your belief systems, redefine, you know, what you need to keep and what you need to respectfully discard. I'm happy about that because I get to see people grow and find freedom, the freedom of self, the freedom of self. So I hope that you all have an amazing night, or if you're watching this in the morning, an amazing morning. And until next time, talk to you later. Bye-bye.